Okay.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. Today is Monday, July 7, 2025. It's a beautiful Monday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And for those who are living in the US, we enjoyed our independence last week on the weekend. I hope you had a wonderful time. Few of the nights we could hardly sleep because of so many things were going on, the fireworks. But I hope you had a wonderful day at work or at play. Some of us have just gone back to work. Some are still on holidays. But wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying your space that you're in. We are here again for another episode of Abundance in Service. And as you know, I adopted this theme verse of the Bible, St. John 10, verse 10, for my entire year abundance. It says, the thief cometh but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. So here we are sharing abundance in service because we are abundant creatures. We were created to be abundant. We were created with abundance. So we are just sharing and reminding us that we are abundant and how so many persons are here to share how they serve abundantly. Today is one of those days where we are happy to share with you another guest. This is our first time on this platform, Mother Miranda Sutherland. She is not only a well-respected leader, but she has a dynamic presence. Mother Miranda has been sought after throughout it for internationally. She's known by many titles that reflect her rich, multifaceted life and career, whether referred to as Mother Miranda, the dynamic queen of graceful aging, or Gero-Spiritual Life Coach, or simple, a mother and a grandmother. She embodies the nurturing and transformative energy that has touched many lives. With over 40 years of professional experience, her impact as a facilitator, trainer, and influencer is immeasurable. I want to make sure that you're hearing and it's sinking in this person that you will hear this evening. She's inspiring and empowering. She empowers individuals to lead lives filled with purpose, wisdom, and spiritual fulfillment. Her approach to aging is not just about growing older, but embracing the journey with grace, purpose, and a deep spiritual connection. Through her extensive experience in pastoral care, personal development, and faith based teachings, Mother Miranda has devoted her life to helping the age journey experience. She believes that aging is a sacred and powerful process, one that is filled with divine purpose and the opportunity to cultivate wisdom that can be passed on to generations. As a Gero-Spiritual Life Coach, Mother Miranda is passionate about guiding individuals through each stage of their life with intention and reverence. She encourages her clients to view aging as a journey of spiritual elevation, one that requires not only physical care, but also emotional, mental, and spiritual nurturing. Her sessions are designed to empower individuals to embrace their wisdom, develop a deeper connection with God, and ultimately live their most fulfilled life. I want to share with you Mother Miranda. As she says, aging out loud in her book, which we will hear a little bit more as we talk, as we connect this evening. Her message resonates with people of all ages, reminding them that aging is not something to fear, but an opportunity to grow spiritually and leave lasting legacy. I want to share with you this profound individual, Mother Miranda. Hi, Mother Miranda. I'm so excited to have you join us this evening. The heartwarming sentiments that just read, I know that they're the person that we're here just ready to hear of this. I know you personally, but I'm here to share you with the world or share more of you because you are sought after internationally. And here we are in this space, just sharing Mother Miranda with us on Mindset Monday. It's a privilege and an honor to have you.
Thank you very much, Miriam Edwards, Jamaican like myself. It is such a pleasure to be here in this space with you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And as we are on the role of abundance in service, based on your acumen, you have served many decades. Now, what is abundance to you? What is abundance in service in your perspective?
I want to give you a laugh. When I first heard the word abundance and to know that I was going to speak, I said I need to be as Jamaican as much as possible. And so the first thing that came to mind is a brescia season, breadfruit season in a Jamaica. When you say we have brescia and breadfruit in abundance, I could not help but reflecting on that, and it means it plentiful enough. And
Enough, enough.
we have pressure for well, I won't want to complete that, but yes, I
Just
think
stone
of
down. You
the
can complete it. Just stone down.
so done. So so it is with that in mind that I found joy in just coming to this space to connect with you, to connect with those who will listen to us, and as well with those who will indeed watch the YouTube recording afterwards. Abundance in service. I grew up with a mother in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth, and she demonstrated what that meant to us growing up as children and what it means to serve others. The beauty of her parlor was in the laughter, abundant laughter as
Wow.
she would allow those customers who came to her hairdressing parlor. It was called at that time salon these days. Uh, we had that abundance of laughter just among herself and her customer.
So
And
that's where you got that from.
that's where I got that from. And that's where when I apart from the holy breadfruit when we talked about a while ago, and I meant apart from the amount of breadfruit that I spoke of a while ago, I guess I have to be doing translation. I'm talking about how my mother served people in that capacity and followed suit thereafter by her children.
Powerful abundance in service. Now, you served in many different capacities, and I know you are living in Canada now, but share a little bit of what you did in serving humanity while you were in Jamaica, and you can extend it to where you are now.
I go back again to growing up in a family that knew what it was to serve. My mother married Edgar Salmon, who was son of Pentecostal pastor over in Evergreen, Uncle Gibby, and um, and Aunt Beryl. And his life was also a life of service to people. He worked with the Jamaican Railway
Mm,
Corporation, and his responsibility was a couple miles on the train line to ensure that people were safe traveling on the line. So he had a push trolley, and he and his men would push along, ride along on that trolley, stop and ensure that the wood, the poline that we call it then, was
mhm.
safely in place or safely removed and repaired and so on. And that was service as well. I carried that over into, so between my mom and dad then, into the service of school. My mother was also a dressmaker. And I
Wow.
remember that I facilitated students at the Balaclava Primary School in my class when it was time for us to do needlework. I could
Mhm.
already sew and stitch with my mother's Singer sewing machine, for those of us who remember Singer sewing machine
I
then.
I do remember that.
Yes, and so that was where part of my beginning of service started to others, to help persons how to sew, to help persons how to string the needle and thread the needle. And then there was the church where I got most of my own leadership skills because I was a Sunday school student at the Balaclava St. Luke's Anglican church. And
Mhm.
then I moved on to become a Sunday school teacher because my teachers, as we use a phrase, saw something in me.
Mhm.
And I became a Sunday school teacher. Then naturally you become part of the youth fellowship and youth leader, and then at the national level and so on. And so that's where all of that service, just giving back and helping, giving of myself to others. Yes.
So another Jamaican term would say, from your yai to your knee, you
From a
were
idea,
serving.
many me I
From you
serve
were a
people.
little child, you were serving.
Yes.
So service. So can I say that service not is not just an act, it's actually your lifestyle. Share with us a little bit more about why service is a lifestyle for you.
That's a good question. I have naturally been an encourager and wanting to see people thrive, wanting to see people make better of themselves. And so I put myself in a way to ensure that kind of results for others. So I would be teaching, I would be in the community concerts, I would be at the harvest supper, I'll be the one doing the grab bag to bring laughter, to ensure
Wow.
that people are getting something. I'd be the ones with the poems and with the Easter concerts. Yes? But I also love something else. I don't know if you remember the shave ice that we used to buy a block of ice and we have a little machine that would
With
run it
snow
on the
cone?
and make snow cone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was an entrepreneur too. Yes,
Hmm.
I used to sell my little snow cone right at my mother's step, at her parlor. Yes,
What?
and you put it in a cone, and then you put the syrup on top of that, on
Mm-hmm.
a hot summer's day, and I used to make my little money. Yes.
Oh,
So that was service to others. I always try to see how I can connect with people through doing things for and with people.
wonderful, wonderful. So we're seeing so many different segments of you serving and how your service has now become the lifestyle that people are seeking after you to serve them, to hear what you have to say. Now, I know there are so many different facets, but right now you are operating in a space where I'm excited with the excitement that you have sharing with sharing with aging gracefully. And I know you're aging gracefully based on, you may not tell them your age, but I know that you're aging gracefully. Now, share with us, how did this come about and what gave you that passion to pursue this aging?
I grew up at a time in Jamaica in the 60s and the 70s when the elderly in our community, they were respected. So I remember Miss Maud that opened the gate when the train passing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Miss Liz. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember Miss Joyce selling the ice cream beside the train when the train pulls up at Balaclava, and the patrons wanted to get there either the snow cone or the ice cream, and Miss Joyce with her apron would run with her bucket of ice cream and her cone, and she had her little language, and she said, sell me now, joke. Buy one, you get one. Buy one, you get one. You know? And we admired those. There was Miss Cherry, there was Miss Gordon. Yes, all these persons were our elders who did business in the community. But not only did they do business, they cared for us. We lived in close proximity, and we would go to each other's home. And there was just this caring and love. And I remember all Tete. Tete would run beside me, even though Tete was drunk, and just admired me as a young girl and encouraged me in his drunken self to keep up my head, keep up my head. So they poured into us that something that was so beautiful. And and then my grandmother and my grandfather, these are from my mother's side. We
Mm-hmm.
lived in they lived in Comfort Hall, which is about a 4 mile walking distance, until later on we would travel on the Bugle Boy bus or the Confidence bus, yes. And um and we would go there for holidays quite often,
Mm-hmm.
and talk about entrepreneurship as well. We love
Mm-hmm.
to go to for the summer holidays because Uncle You had his cane field. And so we would be asked to go into the field, bundle up the cane after the men cut them, and each bundle we brought out on our heads, we got paid per bundle.
And
Mhm.
for sure, you ate sugarcane
And
before and after.
and sugar cane, wonderful. And you ring that sugar cane, and yeah, you just had a good fill of that. And there was also pimento, picking of pimento, so
Mm-hmm.
that you were paid just like people would do buckets of apples, so that you would
Mm-hmm.
be paid for how much pimento you pick per per per
Per
barrel,
bucket.
per bucket. Yes. So, and so all of those persons together, there was an intergenerational connection between our
Mm-hmm.
grandfathers and then our uncles, and and then the mango season and all of that, and we'd sit around and tell stories. So I grew up to respect them, to love them, and wanted to hear from them, and that followed through um, in the church. We respected those seniors who we looked upon. The Mrs. Vi Faulkner, who was a principal at the Bethlehem Teachers College, and
Mm-hmm.
she was one of our members, lay reader. I remember the first sermon that I wrote, Mrs. Vi Faulkner. We didn't have a full-time priest at the time, but she had to vet it so that she felt comfortable that what I was going to deliver was
Mm-hmm.
technologically sound, theologically sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you know.
Powerful. So service in different phases. Now, from the great grand, the grandfather, the uncles, now your age group, how did you serve? And let's stop right there. How did you serve in your peers at that time?
I go back to say that I was always assisting the Sunday school with concert planning, and I was also training teachers. I eventually
Mm-hmm.
became a Sunday school superintendent in my second church. And so I had to be there to train them with the lesson plans so that we are aligning ourselves with the lessons that would be delivered in the service on a Sunday. And so it was all about training and giving back to those who were my peers and those who were a little younger than myself. So I've been a
Powerful.
teacher at heart.
A servant leader, a teacher. I see all of those traits just coming out. Mother Miranda giving her service abundantly. At this, I know you studied in Jamaica and at the tertiary level. How did that shape your life now to being the servant you are, the giving of yourself abundantly?
Before I did any course of studies, I always wanted to see how it was going to benefit others. So having done management service at the, I remember doing the certificate in management studies first after I left St. Elizabeth Technical High School and worked in Balaclava for 5 years at the Balaclava Comprehensive High School, now high school. And I moved over into Kingston for a better life, for more educational acumen. And I then decided I needed to do the first degree, and I did international relations and psychology. So
Oh,
it is psychology that I want to focus more on, which I think is where my core of what I do now with seniors, which we will get to that. So that formed the basis of seeking to understand people and seeking to respond to people. Psychology helped me throughout, and I'll say more on that. When I did international relations, I wanted to become a government ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And at the time, I was working at Jamatel Cable and Wireless. And in order to move into government at a low rate, when I checked the rate out, no, I said, no, I can't give up all of this money that I'm making now. But that information served me along the way. And it was psychology that followed through. And then I went to Duff's Business College and I upgraded my own competencies in the secretarial field. And then I did the executive master's in business administration with Florida International University because now I was ready for management
Mm-hmm.
and made a number of attempts to move into management, and those didn't work out. And and then I remembered one manager said to me, "But you did an MBA, Miranda, and you don't have a specialized area." And then I went back to specialize in human resource development, hence a second master's. And so I packed in all of those studies. And I remembered that along the line, I was concerned that there's no way I can become a pastor or priest. And as persons were telling me, because I never left church. And when eventually the call came for me to be uh, interviewed for minister, one question I asked, I said, how am I going to use all of these studies that I have? And they said, the church is a place where you need all of that. So you are
Amen.
equipped, more than equipped and ready to come. I remember that question being asked. But so all the studies I've done have been towards helping other people. And then when I went to Doss Business College, I was when I went to Doss Business College, I completed my training, and then I went back to teach accounting
Hmm.
because I loved accounting.
You're
And
multifaceted.
yes, and then the director at the time, Sybil Grandison, and Mr. Ratry, who was um, Sybil was the evening school director. It was Ratri who was the president. Agreed that I should do charm and personality development. So I didn't do accounting again. I did charm and personality development, and which
Wow.
helped me so much more to see the needs of people. Yes, I watched the transformation of those students, 60 students, sometimes 70 students at that time in the 80s were in my class. And
Wow.
and that was just the most powerful time for me in terms of giving of myself to others. By this time, I had two little children, Rhonda and Donald, and they would be with me, waiting around until mother finished teaching, you know. And they have held their own position and have gained their own craft now. But yes, it was always about giving myself to others and making others happy to the extent that if someone should feel offended by something I said in the past or did, it would hurt me so much more than they who regard themselves as being hurt, because it's not my intention to hurt others. And if anybody ever say I hurt them, I would really, really be paining for days, because I safeguard people, I respect people, and it's never my intention to hurt. Yeah.
So, with all of the responsibilities you have all through your years,
Mhm.
teaching, giving service in the community, taking care of your own children, how did you find the time, or where did you find the time to write a book with all of what you have been doing and still doing?
What you mean right about right now? I'm as free as a bird in the air. I have no chick, no child. I'm an empty nester. I am
Ooh,
a widower, no husband anymore, and not that I don't want a husband. So maybe somebody might just call me on here.
you never know. You're exposing yourself, so
Yeah,
you never
but
know.
yes, but you see, I believe as well. Before I became involved in all of this thing called work of world, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, I believed in celibacy. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have children. I just wanted to give myself entirely to Christ, because somehow in my understanding of scripture then, I believe that it would have been the best. So these days I'm enjoying a kind of solitude and silence and quietness. And oftentimes I go back to that very beginning, pure me, growing up in Balaclava, and as almost a full circle to say, you're there now, and just me and my Lord.
So instead of saying poor me, you're saying pure me. It's
Now I'm
the
at pure me
total
again.
perspective. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
But it is the servanthood, and to become a servant leader. It is just a responsibility that one has to take seriously, and being called in this space to speak into the lives of people in a divine way. It's the most humbling experience for me. Like as an Anglican priest, I was sharing with my congregation recently that um, the great thanksgiving, that prayer that we say over the bread and the wine, uh, it is one of the longest prayers of all prayers in any church, because we spend that time talking to God about his goodness to us and giving Jesus to us and the sacrifice. That prayer is talking to God on behalf of the people, and it's the most humbling part of the service for me. And I invite persons to enter into, embody what is happening in that moment. And so when you would step out of your pew, step out of the row of chairs to come up to the altar rail to receive the body and the blood. It's each Sunday you do that in our church. We say, as often as you do it in the remembrance of me. So we're doing it as often every Sunday, not once a month or once every 6 months. We're doing it every Sunday. And as we come up, it's a march of witness to yourself and to others who see you walk up and receive that. And so you come and you receive for healing. You come and you receive with thanksgiving. You come and you receive as to where you are on your spiritual journey with Christ. And so
So
as
you're
I
serving.
hand that out each day, each week, it's a powerful confession that we're making and that I'm making.
So you're serving and serving others. You're serving in the respect of Christ who gave of himself
And
as
standing in Christ's stead on behalf of the people. Yes.
ultimately abundance in service.
Abundance is
So,
ever. That is with overflow. That is and flourishing. It's from a broader sense. So when we
mhm.
talk about abundance and prosperity, then this is what we're talking about. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards. This is in First Peter 4 and verse
Amen.
10. As faithful stewards of God, of God's grace in its various forms. So I do that as a priest, and I'm now doing that as a teacher in writing the book. This is going to be my fourth book, actually, but this time it's for the seniors because I have come into an awareness that our seniors need some more attention.
When did you when was that birth in you to write the book for seniors? When did you
So
get
I
pregnant with that idea?
so I just completed, well, maybe just about 2 or 3 more weeks to go to say I am done. The Master's in Divinity with Kairos University. Started out with Taylor Seminary, and
Mm-hmm.
they transitioned with Sioux Falls and so on. And I had to write a context paper, and I searched long and hard as to what can I write about. It's at this age and stage in my life, 67 years old, it is more than just writing to get a pass mark and to tick do a checkbox. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that this would be meaningful. It would remain a live piece of work. And and then I said, well, you've always been talking about seniors. Why don't you explore that possibility? And so that was the birth of it. And I shared that with my professors. And we worked along that. So the topic was reimagining seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered the great Lars Tornström. He had uh, uh, a theory on positive aging. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what had me going down into the rabbit hole. And as I work along on the 30-day miracle challenge with
Ah,
James
uh-huh.
McNeil, where I met you, I went on to James' 30-day miracle challenge. First of all, curious about miracle. Is it the real meaning of miracle? Then I discovered that yes, he was Christian. So he was just using the word. And such a beautiful community. Yes, where I met you, Miriam.
Today.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was just to just set us on a positive path. And one of the things that I came to realize is that we all need support. We all need coaches. We all need those persons who can pour into us. Because if we always see ourselves as a teapot, we're pouring out and we'll get empty. But we need to sit ourselves down on our bottoms in order to be poured into again. And so when I came to that, it was a pouring into, and to just to be in touch. When I started over 90 persons gathering in my space, it was 4 o'clock every morning.
Yes.
And and out of that, he would encourage us, and persons would just share. We would all
Mm-hmm.
just share in different ways and the insights. And James is always encouraging us to find the nuggets, find the insights. And so
Correct.
in the process of writing that paper, then the idea was born to do some workshops. And from the workshops, again, in talking with Maxine, I was talking with Maxine about, I think I'm going to do a book. No, I didn't say I think I'm going to do a book. Maxine says, you need to talk with Shane. If you're having all of this thing, maybe Shane can interview you. So I
Mhm.
interviewed Shane, and Shane interviewed me, and then Shane said, so Miranda, where's your book? So all of this is how the community came together. And so you have a good idea. I have so much information. And so out of that discussion, Aging Out Loud was born. This is Aging Out Loud. So I already had the information. It was just about pulling some of that to pour into this. And it has become such such a great piece of work, not the book itself, but the fact that the well is just bubbling up inside of,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
have been doing the workshops and just pouring into people. I have developed my own theory. Lars Thompson talked about he talks about Gero transcendence, and
Mm-hmm.
Gero meaning study of age in gerontology. And
Mm-hmm.
I go back to psychology now. I said, wait a minute. So Eric Erickson's one of those talked about the 8 stages of psychosocial development. And I very
Mm-hmm.
well remembered him talking about the eighth stage, which is despair or integrity. And that is for the 65 plus people.
And when I
Uh,
ask you a question,
yes.
uh, those concepts are explained, are shared in your book.
Some of those are explained
Okay.
in the book, but when you come to the workshop now, we get into that a little bit more. So
Okay.
the book itself just touched the surface. but
Mm-hmm.
it's at the workshop where we are expecting persons will come alive and thrive and are empowered and get beyond this talk of ageism, which is a discrimination against the aged. Get beyond this saying that at your age 65 and over is young people time now.
Or you're
Get
finished,
beyond,
you're done.
sorry?
Or you're finished, or you're done.
Or
Your
you
time is
finish or
gone.
you're done. So go sit down. Right. And the beauty about where we are as a globe, we are aging and living much longer.
Mm-hmm.
We're living much longer. And that, so go back to the context paper and my thesis statement is if we are able to nurture our seniors more,
Mm-hmm.
then our seniors will feel more cared for. They themselves will age more gracefully. We would recognize their accumulative wisdom over these many years and their experiences. We will give them pride of place. We will
Mm-hmm.
be able to bring the seniors and the young people together in a way that is more meaningful. So, hence, a pathway to purposeful and graceful aging. And that's what I am about with this work. And so Thornston talk about the cosmic and the existential. That's beautiful. He talks about the self-reflection and he
Mm-hmm.
talks about community. And so I have taken his work and Freud's work and Maslow's work and Eric Erickson's work, and I have wrapped the theology around that because I said, after all is said and done, we are to remember that we are not at the end of our lives on earth. We are on a spiritual journey. Hence,
Amen.
Theogera Transcendence to remind us that we are on this spiritual journey and the questions that we have to be asked and the challenges that we have to address, then we address them from a spiritual and divine point of view. And persons are really, really feeling a sense of satisfaction for each time I have conversations like this, or for each time I have the workshops that I do.
Wow. And viewers, those who are watching the live and those who will be viewing the replay, Aging Out Loud can be had on Amazon, and the link is in the description so you can get it now, or you can just jump on YouTube and you can get all of that information. And before Mother Miranda segue into sharing her conference, that beyond the horizon and beyond conference, this is where you will get more meat on what she's sharing with us. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You will get more meat on what she's sharing with us when you go to the conference. And the conference information is also in the description. For those, it will be in Jamaica. For those who will not be able to go, and you can sponsor a senior that they can share that information, they can get that information upfront and close and hear the wisdom of Mother Miranda. You can connect with myself and I will give you the information that you can sponsor. So, a matter of fact, I'm not saying if you can, we're asking you to sponsor one of these seniors who will be so excited to sit and glean from Mother Miranda. You can also check her website. It is also in the description. So all of the information is there for you to connect more with Mother Miranda. The website is there, mother www.mirandaspeaks.com. I got a little tongue tied. Is mirandaspeaks.com, and you can connect with her more. You will hear more of her and connect with her on a personal level as she shares aging out loud.
Thank you for giving a plug for that. Uh, so last year when I did the work and developing all of these studies, um, I said I want to take something back to my country. I'm always believing that in the diaspora we grow, we learn, and it's a way of giving back. And I thought that this was my way of giving back something to Jamaica for the first time in a fulsome way. Can you imagine Miranda's planning this big conference at the Catalonia Hotel? And but if it is God's business, it's got to be in abundance. It's got to
Yes,
be
abundance
out
perspective.
loud.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we have a number of speakers. The Minister of Labor and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr., he is going to be the keynote speaker. And because aging and seniors fall under that ministry, and we look
Mm-hmm.
forward to hearing from him. We have other speakers. Patricia Reed Wall, she's the author of the book Retirement, the Journey and Destination. I think I have Pat's book somewhere here. Right. And then we have Dr. Carolyn Hale, CEO of Etalon Global Solutions. She'll be another speaker. Althea Leng, educator and image consultant. And we all know Althea Leng. She
Mm-hmm.
is in the space of image and beauty and fashion and all of that. She'll be a speaker. Dr. Andrew Blackwood, Harriet. She will be speaking on health, healthy lifestyle, and she's a healthy lifestyle coach and strategist. And of course, I'll be bringing the information about aging and the theogeric transcendence and what all that means and how the educators need to pay attention to how they now train persons who are going out there to work with seniors. It's more than
Mm-hmm.
just for the nursing home, it's more than medication, it's more than just finding a place for them to sleep comfortable. No, the
Wow.
persons who are between 60 and 90 are healthy, active seniors. They need to be recognized. This is a cohort of persons that I'm seeking to celebrate and honor and invite us once again to respect them. There you have it. We have some information there. Pre-retirees, pastors and priests, faith-based leaders, health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness professionals, educators, all these persons need to come and be educated. The training is for those who are approaching 60 and those who are after 60. So it is for all of us. It's intergenerational and it's at the Catalona Hotel in Montego Bay. So I'm encouraging persons who are listening to come on board. And if you have questions, you know how to find me. There's my email address, which is very quick to get to info.mirandaspeaks@gmail.com. You can get to me right there. Or, in fact, I'm going to say you can also reach me on WhatsApp, 604 860 5258. We
Easy.
need to have, sorry,
604
860
860
5258.
5258. That sounds like that feels like a dance move.
5258. Yeah. So it's my delight. Some people say, "But Miranda, when are you going to stop studying? When are you going to stop training?" I said, "It is my God-given gift. It is my call to give of myself to others." And I'm so excited. When an 82-year-old could say to me, "Thank you for this workshop," because I thought I had reached the end of it and I was
Wow.
just about to give up. And
Wow.
and and another wonderful lady looked at me and said, "The problem that she has is that my family does not honor the wealth of knowledge that I have to come to me and to seek my input, but yet they
Wow.
take information about me and share it with others. It's my information. Allow me to speak. Don't say my mother is this and my mother is that. Bring my mother in this space. And then there
So
are
here,
those who, yeah,
so here you are showing everyone not only the age but also the young, showing them how you can or they can connect their parents with who they are and let them have a voice instead of speaking for them.
absolutely. I looked at her. I mean, she's as tall as me talking to me. And I was saying to myself, I didn't ever see that part of it, but it's so true. She said, it's my story. Let me tell
Mhm.
my story. But I'm there and they just ignore me. And she's dying to tell her story. And then there are those who are the silent agers, those who are quietly grieving their empty nesters. Yes, they are the solo agers who never had a child. And so now they are by themselves, or the widow and the widower. And this is where Dr. Carlin Hales come in to talk about her. She's going to be speaking about uh, fictive kinship, a very, very new term, but it is something that we need to be aware of and to embrace that fictive kinship. And
Say
then
that
there
again.
are, sorry,
Say that again. That
fictive,
term.
fictive like fiction, but
Okay.
fictive
Fictive.
kinship. Right. And she's going to speak on that. And then there are those persons who are having problems and suffering internal regrets that you don't know. There are those who are the silent agers who do not have the space to speak and share their grief and their sorrow and their regrets. And there are those who we would never know because they appear so altogether okay on the outside, but deep down they're hurting. And they go home to 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 their vices. And some of them um, really suffer and just die with all of that inside. So
Wow.
I'm talking about active, healthy seniors, but who also have their own needs. And I am the voice now in this space. I am the queen of purposeful and graceful aging. And I'm saying to churches, you have these members in your church. How are you nurturing them? It's more than just
So
coming.
So the queen of purpose is like the
Okay.
excitement is just booming. The queen of purposeful aging. You started, but I cut you just to make sure that our viewers they're keenly listening. What is your take? What is their summary that you will leave with this space that we can not only think about it but act on what you say?
I'm saying you need to do the mindset reset. Do the mindset reset right in this uh, presentation by Miriam, Mindset Abundance, and tell yourself you are only at a stage. It is about stage, not age. It is in this season that we truly know that age is just a number. And we are
Mhm.
not saying not accept your age. We know that the $22 trillion commercial market is out there. 22 trillion. And this was in
Mhm.
2022 that that statistic came out. Um, that persons just want to look forever young in the fashion and in the Botox and all of that. No, we're saying you can find your youth by accepting that you are on a divine journey and you want to share your knowledge and love yourself and thank God. You have earned this stage in your life. Not many persons get to this 60 and 70 and 80
Mhm.
and 90. So we ought to be in a blessing mode and not regret things of the past. Let it go, let them go, and find your joy from within. When you come to these workshops, this is what you will find. One person said, I can go home and set things right with my mother now.
Mm.
That's what one person said. Another person said, oh my God, this is so positive. I just had a workshop, yes, on Saturday, and I had a guest in from New Zealand in my audience, and what he wrote on his um, evaluation form is that New Zealand need this workshop.
Mm.
Yeah, and so I'm taking this to Jamaica.
Yes.
I'm taking this to Jamaica, and somebody sent me, I think it was Patricia Reed Wall, one of the speakers on retirement. She sent me a clip about the Jamaican Parliament was just discussing the elderly this week. So we are right on the button, not me, but it is divine. So what
Yes.
I have stepped into is powerful.
The right place at the right time, the right moment. You're on purpose. You're on God's time and God's purpose, and He will fuel whatever you are doing. Now, I remembered
I'm
Miles
going to ask
Monroe,
you what James says. Everything is perfect
perfect, and everything is improving.
and everything is improving. That's James right there.
As you were talking about this older lady wanting to have her own voice, as Miles Monroe said in one of his books, he wants to die empty. And in dying empty is giving of everything because we are stewards. How would you look at that in your closing statement? Dying empty, serving abundantly, dying empty.
That's so rich for Miles to talk about that. You know, some words that mean a lot to me. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. And there's another one, a song that says, carry your candle, run
Mm,
through the darkness.
mhm.
Yeah, it's such a powerful song.
Yes.
Go to those who are in need. It says, um,
Seek
there
out
is a
the
candle
outcast.
in every soul, some brightly burning, some dark and cold. There
Mm,
is a spirit who brings a fire. Ignite a candle and make his home. Carry your
mm,
candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless,
mm,
confused, and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. I so believe in this song that every step I take and every move I make is with that candle to light the world, somebody else's candle, one candle at a time.
wow, wow, wow. I just took a deep breath, just taking that in. That is such a powerful closure. Carry your candle, take your candle, go light your world. Just by you carrying your candle, someone else will see and their candle will be lit because you decide to go with that candle. You decide to walk with your candle. Mother Miranda, it has been such a pleasure and honor sharing your heart with us today. I know this is not the last time, but this is just the opening, sharing with our audience, sharing your brilliance, sharing what God has given to you to share with us. It is such a wonderful richness that you've left us with. Take your candle, go light the world. And as you light the world with aging out loud and embracing the age and reminding us that as we age, we are just using our gift as stewards to give to the world and to share what God has given us. So we're good stewards. You're a very good steward, sharing what God has given as you age gracefully and helping us how we can age gracefully and give God the glory while we age graceful. Thank you so much. Viewers, thank you for viewing.
Thank you. And
Make
thank you
sure,
all. And all of you who will view this, thank you so much. May God bless you. May you care for your elderly. And seniors, if you are listening, may you love upon yourself more and appreciate what God has done for you. There's no regret for you to have right now. God bless all of you.
powerful. Please, viewers, make sure you hit notification all so you will not miss these wonderful sessions as we share our guest to share with you. Until next week, this is Miriam Edwards for another episode of Mindset Monday.